Alright guys, welcome. I'm making this talk about a very important topic. It had to be addressed, and currently what's going on in the space in general, in the organic space, is that every big, all the way from like small to big influencers are trying to feed you that the best way to get started right now is to just stitch content, post it on, Facebook and IG, and make 5 6 figures. So I truly think that right now there's no competition, and the best way to start is actually right now, because you have AI, but then also you have original content. So if you have been in the organic space in the past, for example, or even now, and you're confident that you have good content, then you have an asset. So if you have this skill and then you combine it with AI, in more particular UGC, because I've tested, and UGC is right now the most realistic and effective. Okay, it's easier to create a UGC which talks about the product, or maybe has a product like in a few clips, than creating a sole video just for the product. So AI UGC is actually the best way right now, plus organic. So if you could combine your skill with AI, then you could dominate the market, literally, because everyone is just relying on stitching plus UGC. This is their route, which limits them, right? They're limited to their competitors' content, and then because of how limited they are, they often take content, they stitch it from multiple different people, which makes them look, less trustworthy, which in the long term will backfire and they'll get chargebacks. So it may seem flashy at the start, but in the long term, and that's why, by the way, it's a pump and dump. So unfortunately, the reality is the stitching era, okay, has been so linked to pump and dump right now. It's actually insane. Like, it almost feels like if you want to go for pump and dump, you have to go for the stitching method. And then if you want to go for the, authentic, the branded, which by the way will eventually pay off, okay, it will make you 6+ figures in the long term, is, picking a good product, not just any product just for the sake of selling it. No, you actually pick a good product, you brand it, you get variants, you customize it, and so on. And then you could, market it with AI, for example, plus organic content. So yeah, it has literally split in half the space right now. And I have more respect, I'm gonna be honest, like for anyone who has been trying to actually create their own content. And I've seen a lot of people, by the way, who are doing really well, even though they've picked pump and dump products, by the way, they still had to make it look like a brand. And that's what a lot of people don't even get. They think when I say run a branded product, it means that it needs to be a long-term product, solely that. No, that's not the main reason. That's like a benefit of picking a branded product. Who doesn't want to have long-term income from a product? So that's one of the perks. But when I say run a branded product, what I mean is pick a product, even if it's a pump and dump, which you could find on Amazon. The main point is try to market it and portray it using your marketing and website as a brand. Why? Because you need to make it look more trustworthy in comparison with all the, chaos going on in the market. Trust me, these people are making the space very infamous. A lot of people are not trusting to purchase from online stores anymore because of the flood of all these stitching and scammers in general. So the point is, if you can make, even if you pick up, pump and dump product, make it look like a brand, get, high quality content, branding on the website for it, you're gonna end up increasing your CVR, you're gonna make more money, because it's actually, at this point, it's like a mandatory thing to do to actually make your store compete with the standard of the market. And I'd like to, use the paid ads stores as a standard for my store. And I truly, recommend anyone to do the same, because paid ads will teach you that for you to make it worth the money for you to pay ads, you need to actually increase the quality of your content and the quality of your store. Check their websites, they put 50 times the amount of effort we put on organic not only content but also the website. I just want to talk about the website for now. So, because the bigger stores who do paid ads, they actually pay UGC and they create AI UGC for their marketing, which is far more advanced than what we see on organic. So you could get inspiration from that, but primarily what I'm talking about here is the website as well. So why not take one step forward or 10 steps forward to make your store look similar to these paid ads? And I'm not talking about getting an advertorial. I'm talking about just making it look more branded, trustworthy, and not just, one product, a few reviews, and that's it. No. Make something to be proud of, and in the long term, it's going to pay off. So this is like my thought about the space right now. There's literally no competition whatsoever. If you could combine, so right now, organic content on its own is not enough. I truly think AI marketing is the new skill that you need with organic dropshipping. So, and we're talking about the ethical values here. I'm not talking about the stitching and the, manipulation. We're talking about ethics. And this is one thing which, since the dawn of time, has been one of the pillars of business. Like, you need ethics, right? Because you're going to get tempted here and there to do something else, like to test any of these stitching AI you just see, saying they have a failed business. So ethics is something you need to live with, right? So that's what whenever I mention you need AI plus organic, that's what I mean, okay? So find this skill, and it's very easy to build it. You just need to actually have a product which requires this, and then start creating with, there's multiple, Nano Banana plus Higgsfield, and the last one is going to be VO3, but it's up to you. You could use Sora or VO3, okay? And Higgsfield has these two, okay? So you're going to have to test on Higgsfield versus testing it from VO3 or Sora. So you create the avatar on Nano Banana, then you put the first clip, the final clip on these platforms, and then you prompt it basically to do the in-between, like move this avatar from here to there, okay? So it's very simple. You just need to actually put in the effort and have the creativity to, know what to prompt. But obviously you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You can check what's working, and there's a lot of ethical. Try to find what's doing well, take inspiration, and then, apply. So that's my general thought about the space right now. And if you're wondering what you should go for, as I mentioned earlier, I'm looking for team members because we have our brand launching in a month. And right now, the biggest skill which I see lacking, okay, is not organic marketing, because the reality is most people, they have different skills of organic. So if you have had, a year or two of experience with organic marketing, then the reality is it may have been with a very specific thing, right? For example, with blankets, just doing 3-to-1, for example, or just being indoors on a table versus someone who has been outdoors. So the point is, it's always going to be different in terms of organic marketing, the skill sets that you need. And that's why actually I always say, if you are good at one of those, so if you're good at 1, 2, or 3, whatever, okay, then double down on it. If you have gone viral, you're very confident with your content, with your background, with your lighting, then try to find products which are similar in the same setting, okay? So I'm not talking about the product or the niche. I'm just talking about the requirements of making this product go viral. So whether it's the background, the lighting, the movements. So yeah, whenever we enroll new team members to the affiliate team, this is the thing which I look for. And oftentimes they actually have, completely different background from what the product requires, which is fine, right? But that's where AI comes into place, because at that point, you don't need to do this. You could literally just skip this and create the hook with AI, and then the final product reveal could be either you recording it, which is usually simple, or we could just give you the content and you stitch it. So that's how easy it is. I'm telling you right now, you just need good AI, content creation, okay, to create the first 6 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever, and then stitch it with either your content or your team's content. Again, I would recommend limiting yourself to stitch other people's content, because this is what happened last year, and it may feel like this is the only route to make it work, but it's not. In fact, it's gonna limit you, trust me. So try to learn how to create good content, stick to one of those, like either indoors, with a certain hand movement, like try to pick a product which requires most of the skills, learn it, because there's nobody in the space anymore. Everyone is either stitching or quitting. So yeah, and there's obviously the 1% who are quietly doing really well, and these 1% are the ones who are turning a mediocre product to a branded looking product. So yeah, I just wanted to break down what's going on right now and why I think there's no competition. So if you guys have learned something new, or if you relate, let me know in the comments, subscribe, join my Discord. We do Sunday weekly calls, by the way, stage call. We just chill, do product research, we review the content, the website, the product, and any Q&A. So that's for the Sundays. And again, for the affiliate team, if you'd like to be part of it, let me know as well on Discord. Completely free. You get to be part of this new journey, and I'm trying to set a new standard for the organic space. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm actually gonna start with this brand with organic, and then I'm gonna do like a hybrid approach to scale it with paid ads. I'm gonna do like a hybrid approach. So it's a very interesting and more of an advanced strategy, which you will be learning first-hand experience if you are part of this. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys.